18 days. So we have come to 17th chapter. So one more chapter to complete this. Okay. Just 2 minutes. So we are in chapter 17, Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga, the divisions of faith. Okay. So let us pay obeisance to Sri Radha Govinda. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Nanakashalakaya Chakshumitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Ena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Pada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavscha Shri Rupam Sagarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vittam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakana Vittam Scha Hey Krishna Karuna Sindho Dino Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sote Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Abhyascha Kripa Sindhu Avevacha Patitam Nam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Te Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatesha Tarine Jai Ho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So let us get into this chapter. So what did we do? A little recap. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. That is, he gave the natures of the divine and demonic natures. So it all depends upon the scriptures. If the people who reject scriptures, they act whimsically, they'll be miserable and they will be caught in the 3 gates of hell. That is lust, greed, and anger. And whereas people who are follow the scriptures, they perform acts for self-realization, they follow scriptures and they escape the gates and attains liberation. Okay, so Krishna talked about 2 kinds of people. One is divine and then demonic. So if you remember the 15th chapter, he had given us an analogy of inverted banyan tree. It is like, you are with 2 extremes. The divine on the upper part of the banyan tree and demonic are the lower part, and they keep going lower and lower species. Okay. Now what happens in between? That is what we are going to see in this chapter. So in this chapter has 8 divisions, and here, something when in the last chapter, Krishna has mentioned something, and that triggers Arjuna to ask certain questions here. So he says there are people who will, they whimsically act, but they whimsically worship whatever they want. Okay, they have some faith in themselves and they'll be worshipping. It's not that they don't believe in God. Whereas demonic people, they don't believe in God, right? So they are the other end. They think everything, they are the this is the end of it, and they are not bothered about, they don't believe in rebirth. So, but there are people who believe certain things, believe whatever they want. So what happens to their destination? So, and why they do that? And are they covered by Maya? So this was the question. And Krishna answers that there is something we believe. Okay, 3 modes, determined modes. There are, we believe in something or everyone has certain beliefs. Like even in the beginning of this class, they were saying, no, we are already stuck to certain faith. We have certain, we've been practicing certain things, right? So Krishna is saying, all of you believe in something, and beliefs are not independent. You have, it depends on your association or your traditions and so many things. It's not you independently have your own faith. Okay. And it is based on our consciousness. So here he is describing that in the basis of three modes. Even my conviction is so much attached to myself. So it is something revolutionary. Actually, we are governed by Maya. So Maya will spoil our belief also. It is something like we are in the illusion. And then he talks about other things. So he gives everything, he's analyzing on the basis of three modes of nature. So even the foods we eat, that also he explains in these three verses, 17.8 to 10, on the three modes. Then sacrifices, which we carry out. That also in the thing, you can easily figure it out the three modes of nature. Then he talks out three kinds of austerity. Austerity of mind, austerity of body and speech. Then how these austerities, when they perform in three the modes, what do they get? Then he continues to talk about charity in three modes. Then, so it's like, we are in three modes, right? Because actually our original position is as a soul, we are spiritual. Because we are in the Maya, we are not healthy today. In fact, when the first thing what the doctors do is they take your temperature. From taking your temperature, why? Because from that they're able to assess the state of your body. So same way, these modes, this is a scientific analysis. It is given on basis on the modes, which is analysis given by Krishna here. And modes cover all facets of our activities. It's not that here in this chapter, 4 things he talks about on the split as per the modes. That is faith, then talks about yagna, that is sacrifices, tapas, and austerity and ahara. Okay. And in the end, he says everything, if it's done, Om Tat Sat, that should be offered to the Supreme. Okay. Otherwise, it is not worthwhile in this life or in the future life. So these are the 8 kind of sections we have in this chapter. So Arjuna said, "O Krishna, what is the situation of one who does not follow the principles of scripture but worships according to his own imagination? Is he in goodness, in passion, or in ignorance?" So you might ask why he is asking now, because he says no, that he's already come out of illusion and all that. So actually it is for us. This is something very practical, and something in the verse 16.23. I'll just come back to this. In 16.23, in the last chapter, Krishna says, "Et shastra vidhim ustrijaha vartate kama karatha nasa siddhim avatnauti na sukam na param gati." But he who discards scriptural injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor supreme destination. That means he's shastra vidhim ustrija. That is, he's not discard completely. He might be lazy to carry out the spiritual injunctions. He might have learned it, but he may not do it, or he might do it partially or not perfectly. So what happens to them? Because here Krishna says, no, if they discard it, they will never get perfection or happiness, nothing. So shastra vidhim ustrija. So again he repeats. See, he's repeating the same words. Shastra vidyam ustrija yajanti shraddhayan vitaha tesham nishtan tu Krishna sattvam aho rajasam. What is the situation of one who does not follow the principles of scripture but worships according to his own imagination? So he is worshipping something. It's not that it is not like the demonic people who think there's no God and all that, but they are worshipping. And is he in goodness, in passion? Sattvam aho rajas tamaha. Passion or in ignorance. So we can see that what is this? This discussion is taking place in the battlefield. But he is not disturbed. He wants to know, even discussing the philosophy, right? And he's listening very carefully. So even those words he's repeating. See, Shastra Vidya Musrija. So repeating Krishna's word with great. So he's asking, okay, they are great faith, they are worship. So in India also we believe, we always, all of us have some faith or the other. See, otherwise if you don't have faith, you don't even put money in the bank, isn't it? Like that, we have faith in certain things or by what our parents are saying or the traditions. As we grow up, we might have certain associations and some faith. If not India, another place also, there are like people, who have this, you can see in the Google, that, they have some Scientology. They are opposing the Christian things, principles. So they have their own kind of faith. Or this flying spaghetti monster, if you Google it, you can see that they have their faith in certain something or the other. So but they are not, and we cannot, that is, what are they believing? They do not want to analyze it. We cannot analyze faith if it hurts somebody's sentiments. But here, discussion is going on. Shraddha yat vitaha. They can't give, suppose, see, whatever the things they are talking or the faith, they can't give the evidence from the scriptures because it is the practices they are doing is on their own. Okay. That means they are in Maya. So he is straight away asking Krishna in which mode they are in. So if we analyze Arjuna, you can understand how good a student should be. See, we are, and there are many symbols. Okay. So what does Krishna answer in this? So let us see that. Okay. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Trivida Bhavati Shraddha Dehinam Swabhavaja Satviki Rajasi Chaiva Tamasi Cheti Tam Shrinu. Tam Shrinu means listen. Supreme Lord said, according to the modes of nature acquired by the embodied soul, one's faith can be of three kinds: goodness, passion, or ignorance. Now hear about this. According to one's existence under the various modes of nature, one evolves a particular kind of faith. The living being is said to be of a particular faith according to the modes he has acquired. So it depends upon what kind of nature they have and how they have evolved a particular kind of faith. So there are three things like karmis. Karmis are the ones who are very much on rajas, rajas guna. They have activities. And they want to do a lot of rituals as per the Vedic scriptures, and what is their aim? They want to go to the Svargaloka. That is their aim. Whereas Jnanis are there, they are in the mode of goodness, of course. They want to cultivate knowledge to get liberation, and they will at least go to the Brahman thing. They are the Jnanis. But there are people who are Saddha with the more than goodness, pure goodness. Their only thing is to have bhakti. Bhakti yoga, they want to progress in that to get the prema of the Lord and to go back to Golok. So only through bhakti yoga, they are the bhaktas. Okay. So it depends on what kind of faith they have. According to one's mode, we cultivate our faith. It also depends on our habits. Okay. It very much depends on our habits. Some are sattvic, rajasic, tamasic. There are some total of habits. Some habits, it would be in rajasic, some could be in sattvic mode or tamasic. And yes, some total of habits, collection of them. Habits are also at different levels. Or we can say our heart desires are at different levels. Whatever we are cultivating, overall mode depends on our desire. Okay. So Krishna says our faith depends upon the modes we are in, modes we have cultivated. And also it depends on the desires. Ejanti sattvika devan eksha rakshasmi rajasa kretan bhuta gananam chanya ejanti tamasa janaha. Men in the mode of goodness worship the demigods. Those in the mode of passion worship the demons, and those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. So how do we understand this? See, like people go to temples, isn't it? They do go, but there are four reasons you can think of. Like some will go out of fear. Oh my, I must go to the temples, otherwise bad things will happen to me and all that. So there are some who go to think out of fear. So how do they go out of fear? Like, we do pay our tax, we don't want to get interest out of it or to be harassed by the department. So out of fear we pay. And it's not bad. At least he's going to God, no? So at least even it is out of fear, he's going to the Lord. He's going to the temple, it's good. But if you take an example, like now you come to the city where your parents are there, and you go to meet your parents because out of fear. You don't want, I go out of fear, you go to me. Suppose they come to know that you're in the city and you have not met them, how will they feel? No? So you don't want to get into their bad books. So out of fear, you go to me. How do you like that? Or you might go to there, okay, you go and meet your parents because it's your duty. But if you go and meet them out of love, isn't it good? So like that, it's the way we are approaching the Lord. So that's the way that out of fear, if you go to good, it's not good, but it's need. That is how some people go. Only fear will work on their mind. Like tamas people, no, you only like you have to have a danda. You have to keep them on fear, only then they will work. Otherwise, they'll be lazy and they won't come out of it. Even astrologers, play on a fear, isn't it? They say there's some dosha here, this thing is there, you must do this, and you spend money on those things and all that. So, tamasic people also work on the fire. So, if they are fortunate, they can go to Krishna's temple also out of fear. So, like this, tamasic puja, midla, pranay, tantric, and all they have. Instead of fear, if there are people who go to the temple or to go to the Lord out of for desires. So there are people like that. So we saw how some could go out of fear, some will want some material deals, artha. Like we saw, Dhruva Maharaj went in search of thing to the Lord for getting a better kingdom and thing, right? And even Sugriva also, who surrendered to Lord Rama to get his kingdom back. So they go, Leophiles will go to the Lord. So, and you can take an example, say if the son comes and asks that, Dad, I want something, I want a car and thing, Dad is very pleased to give, isn't it? It's like nothing. Same way the Lord doesn't, he is happy when you come to us, even if it is for material desires. Because you're coming to him, no, you're going to him. So that is what, whether you go out of fear to him or think, he understands, he can think what you have come to him. And in the case of Dhruva Maharaj, we saw the way he served in the devotion and things. He purified his material desires also, okay, by giving him his benediction. So we get gradually purified. Even if you go with desires, you might say, now how I can go, I've done so many sinful things. He will forgive you because after all, he's our father, right? So he will forgive you. It doesn't matter which level we are in, right? All he needs is we need to go towards him. Go, our consciousness turns to it. So people might go and think. And there are some people, who are very influential, and we want to go, we want to get some, very influential in the government, means we go and try to, praise him or things so that we can get a transfer or we can get certain benefits to their influence. So we want to take advantage of them. So we go like that. So these are the kind of people. That means we are in the mode of passion where they go and even praise the some people, influential people, to get their work done. Okay, there are people like that also. So as long as your work is getting there, they don't bother whether he is or whatever he is in, whether which mode of passion he is, whether it's goodness or not. All they want is get their work done. So we have different kinds of mentality. Okay. So we saw fear or desire or certain things to be done. And there are other kinds of people who go to God saying it is my duty. Because it has been drilled into them to the by tradition or think that it's a duty to go to the thing every Friday or this thing. Even for in church you will see, they feel it is a duty to go to the church on every Sunday and things like that. So they feel it is their duty to go to the temple. To go to the temple or so we saw fear, desires, and temple. But if you go to the Lord for love, but one thing is missing is all that is love. This is the only thing Krishna wants. Krishna wants you to come to him willingly and lovingly, right? And if you go to him, then only advanced people go there. So it is very difficult thing to understand when he says, when you worship when the demigods. There are people will go with different intentions, right? And then he says the more worship the demons. Demons are the people. They wouldn't mind with anything as long as they get the things. And those in the mode of ignorance worship ghosts and spirits. So we have the faith, the way they worship depends on the modes. Okay, I hope it is clear. And we'll see next how we step it. And about the austerities, there are some people who do tapas. Those who undergo severe austerities and penances not recommended in the scriptures, performing them out of pride, egoism, lust, and attachment, who are impelled by passion and who torture their bodily organs as well as the super soul dwelling within are to be noticed. See, this person is doing there's a sacrifice, I mean, so much tapas penance he has done that he can be inside the mud for quite some time. I mean, what is this will help him? Or if people see this, what is that he is showing? He's only showing is out of pride, he wants to show off that he can be inside this and without breathing and all that. So he might have done all that, but it is not helpful. Okay, it is only out of pride, out of passion. And here we see Ravana lifting the Kailash. He had that power and all that because of his tapas and penance he has done, he could do it. But ultimately, he was only out of passion, out of pride, ego. He wants the power, he wants the thing and prove. And then we had Hiranyakashipu, who did many years of tapas. His body had become really emancipated. So he has tortured his body and organs and think really. So they are known as to be demons. Okay. Because it's not for good of the people or good of the thing. They were doing it in passion. So they are misled mentality, thinking this is the way to be happy. So out of sacrifices, then he talks about foods. See, even that, sattvic. So we might ask why Krishna is talking about food, why does many people ask, how does it make any difference? Does it make any difference whether what food we eat? It does make a difference. So here he is classifying the foods in the mode of goodness, increase the duration of life, purifies one's existence, and gives strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. Okay, such nourishing foods are sweet, juicy, fattening, and palatable. Okay, these are the kinds of foods which gives us, what is that? It increases the duration of life, purifies, gives strength, health, happiness, and satisfaction. But foods that are too bitter, too sour, these are the sattvic foods. And foods that are too bitter, too sour, salty, pungent, dry, and hot are liked by people in the modes of passion. Such foods cause distress and pain, distress, and disease in the long run. Okay, it's not that good for the thing if you eat too much of that. And food cooked more than 3 hours before being eaten, which is tasteless, stale, putrid, decomposed, is food liked by people in the mode of ignorance. There are some people who like certain cheese and thing which is very decomposed, even the drink, beer and all, which is fermented and things like that. So, whereas food in the mode of goodness gives us ayu, strength, health, sattva, happiness, and bala. Okay, strength, ayu, it gives us health and you might ask, as I said, why Krishna is talking. We are what we eat, isn't it? So this is the thing he touched upon. The foods also he discusses in the basis of the modes of goodness and passion, and we can make out what we are by understanding this. Of sacrifices, that sacrifice performed according to duty unto scripture rules with no expectation of reward is of the nature of goodness. So that is the yajna. People now he is talking about the So so this is the way about sacrifices. That is the Krishna, what we say sacrifices for this Kali Yuga is Sankirtana, right? So Sankirtana. But that sacrifice performed for some material end or benefit, performed ostentatiously out of pride, is of the nature of passion or chafer bharata. So there are people who follow the Vedic scriptures and they perform sacrifices to devatas. Okay, devatas can't do anything without asking Krishna, right? But still, there's some people are annoying them, bothering so much. Please, 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 please give and think they perform such things, sacrifices. So he says, okay, they give, but it will be at our own risk. Whereas Krishna will never give us if it is not beneficial to us. Okay. Whereas the devatas and all will give because you have pestered him so much. But it will be at our own risk, whatever we get from them. Okay. Krishna says, you might ask, why did Krishna allowed devatas to give? Because, like, when you pester someone, so much, then what happens? You say, okay, your children also know they'll be throwing so much tantrums. You don't know how to tell them, reason it out and all that. So you say, okay, go ahead and have it. So like that, sometimes we get because of the thing. And all that is for what? And it is only for the material benefit or some to show off out of pride for self-glorification. And there are some sacrifice performed in defiance of scriptural injunctions, in which no spiritual food is distributed, no hymns are chanted, no remunerations are made to the priest, and which is faithless. That sacrifice is the nature of tama, ignorance. Here we see, he is cutting part of his flesh, Bhasmashura. And finally, Shiva had to come and give him the benediction. But they produce a demonic mentality. I think all of us know the story of Bhasmashura and Shiva, and how Lord Vishnu had to come, Narayana had to come and say that Bhasmashura dies by his own benediction. So produce a demonic mentality because they are not following any scriptures. They are, and no, don't give, no hymns are made, and they follow if they want priest, and no remunerations to the priest, and their faithless. And their mentality is demonic. So now, see, we talked about faith, Shraddha, food, then he's covering the aspect of sacrifice. Now he's talking about austerities. What is the austerities we have? That is the penance. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Sauchasham Arjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimsa Cha Shariram Tapa Uchyati. So the austerity of the body consists in this. That is, we worship the Lord, the Brahmanas, the spiritual master, even superiors like the father, mother, elders. Apart from that, cleanliness, simplicity, celibacy, regulation, and non-violence. That means you don't hurt anybody, hurt your own body, nor the others. Are also austerities of the body. Okay. So the penance of the thing is to be simple, and these kinds of austerities done for the Lord. Physically, think, mind, spirit. Okay. Then, after body austerity, now he's talking about austerity of speech. Anuvedya karam vakyam satyam priya itam chayat sadhyaya bhashanam chaiva vanmayam tapa uchyati. Austerity of speech. See, very important. What we talk consists in speaking truthfully and beneficially, not just to talk to both somebody ego or praise somebody. And I think we should be truthful and it should be beneficial to them. Otherwise, we can keep quiet. And in avoiding speech that offends, one should also recite the Vedas regularly. That will help us in our austerity of speech. And here we have Maharaj Yudhishthira, who never told a lie, even at the battlefield when Krishna was himself ordering him to tell a lie. He was bewildered and he couldn't come out of that. the austerity of speech. It's the penance. And serenity, simplicity, gravity, self-control, and purity of thought are the austerities of the mind. How do we keep the mind? So the goodness, people who are in the goodness, they'll be very calm, content. Whereas people in passion, they are dissatisfied. They are always anxious because their desires are not fulfilled. So they are always anxious. Okay. And people who are in ignorance, they are bewildered. So they look for an opportunity to be satisfied. Here, austerities of the mind. Okay, 3 kinds of austerities are done for supreme. So what it says finally, this threefold austerity, that is body, speech, and mind, practiced by men whose aim is not to benefit themselves materially, but to please the supreme, is of the nature of goodness. Okay, so they follow these. Austerity of the body, speech, and mind. So they are in the nature of goodness. Okay. Then those ostentation penances, you do it for show, glorification, austerities which are formed in order to gain some respect, honor, and reverence, are said to be in the mode of passion. They are neither stable nor permanent. Okay. So this is only for self-provision, and they are in the mode of passion. Fine. Okay. And those penances and austerities which are performed foolishly by means of obstinate self-torture, or to destroy or injure others, are said to be in the mode of ignorance. And why did Hiranyakashipu do such kind of penance? Because he wanted to become immortal. He wanted to become more powerful. And it was like, you wanted to lord over others, not for the good of others. You wanted more power and you wanted to be intelligent and to destroy, injurious. And finally, when he got the benediction, he became so arrogant, so ill-treated others and all that, even to the extent of torturing his own son. Even he didn't believe in him. Okay. So they are said to be in the such kind of penances and austerities are said to be in the mode of ignorance. They want to have power to destroy others. Okay. So you all understood anything? Or is there any doubt till now? Hare Krishna. Otherwise we can continue. Dattavayam iti yad dhanam. Now he is talking about dhanam, that is charity. Diyate anupakarine deshe kale cha patre cha tad dhanam satvikam smritam. So that gift which is given out of duty at the proper time and place. Okay, it's a duty to a worthy person and without expectation of return is considered to be the charity in the mode of goodness. So they don't want anything out of return. They only want to help others, and it should be at a proper time, place, and to a worthy person. So then it is said to be in the mode of goodness. Here we have Nand Maharaj giving out of duty and things. Okay. Hetu pratyuk, but charity performed with expectation of some return or with a desire for fruitive results or in a grudging mode is said to be charity in the mode of passion. So this picture shows clearly, how people are doing it for their personal profit. They want to show off to others. He's taking a selfie and trying that he is giving some charity to these poor people. And actually it's hurting them, to be shown in this way. And this we saw many times in this COVID situation, how people were, in the TV and all, they were showing the politicians, how they are helping the people and all that. And only thing they want to show their name and how they are thing. So that type of charity is when it's performed with the expectation of some return or with a desire for fruitive results or in a grudging mode is said to be intent. And some people know why grudging mode means they'll be forced to pay, because if you're in a society and they are asked that you have to contribute to this cause, we are going to build something and you want to get it. And if you don't, and if you give charity to outside the society, they don't like it. They want you, because you're the members of the society, you have to contribute there on, and you should not fund for somebody else. So you're forced, you're in a grudging mode, you're forced to give to them only. So this happens in many places. And so he says that kind of sanctity in the mode of passion. Okay. And charity performed at an improper place and time and given to unworthy persons without respect and with contempt is charity in mode of ignorance. See, here the person wants money for his weed, that is for his drugs and things. And so when you give money to the beggars, what happens? We don't know for what purpose they're using it. They might give some all good reasons, scientific reasons. But if you give them food, it's much better, because at least they'll be eating it and not things. So we have to be careful. We have to be discriminate in the charity when we are giving charity. Okay, so look at this. The way Krishna is talking, he has touched upon all aspects of our life, of our activities, isn't it? The faith we have, the how we worship, and what modes we have been, 3 modes of nature we have. And then we describe the sacrifices, the yagna, the tapas we do, austerities, and charity. So every aspect is talking from the angle of modes of nature. Goodness, modes of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. And then he concludes by saying that from the beginning of creation, the 3 syllables, Om Tat Sat, which we use, have been used to indicate the supreme absolute truth. They were uttered by Brahmanas while chanting Vedic hymns and during sacrifices for the satisfaction of the Supreme. See, this Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Sat Sat, it is there in the hymns, and we hear of Brahmanas and they do the puja and all, they hew, but we thought we don't understand. So here he is explaining what that words are. So thus the transcendentalists undertake sacrifice, charities, and praise, beginning always with Om to attain the Supreme. So Om means Vishnu. It is placed at the beginning of Vedic hymns to indicate the supreme goal. Okay, and it is taken from Chandrodaya Upanishad. One should perform sacrifice, penance, and charity with the word Tat. The purpose of such transcendental activities is to get free from material environment. So Tat describes detached work for the sake of liberation. These activities are done with disregard for material results. Okay. So Om is meant for the Lord, means Lord Vishnu. And here Tat means we are doing it for the sake of liberation, not for material benefits. So absolute truth is the objective of devotional service and is indicated by the word Sat. These works of sacrifice, of penance and charity, true to the absolute nature, performed to please the Supreme Person. Okay, Sat means eternal. Activities done for the service of the Lord reveal the true spiritual nature. In such activity, the performer of actions become eternal. The activities are aimed at the eternal, and the benefits of the activities are also eternal. Sat. Om Tat Sat. So finally, Krishna concludes that sacrifices, austerities, and charities performed without faith in the Supreme. If you don't have faith in the Lord, and whatever sacrifice you do, whatever charities and things are non-permanent, because regardless of whatever rights are found. So it is useless because it's not permanent, whether it's in this life or in the next. It's not, I told you, whatever we do in this self-realization process, there's no loss or thing. But these things, if we do without faith in the Lord, then it is useless. It is asat, not permanent. So we should do all these things with faith in the Lord. Okay. So these were the answers which Krishna talks about to the inquiry by Arjuna. He said, what happens to unauthorized worship? Then he answers that with 3 modes which determines one's faith and worship. Foods in 3 modes, sacrifices in 3 modes, 3 kinds of austerity we saw, austerity in 3 modes, and charity. So sacrifice, charity, hostility should be offered to the Supreme. Only then it is beneficial with faith in the Lord. Okay. So, Om Tat Sat. So, all the aspects of our lifestyles, Krishna has touched upon. Food, faith, worship, austerity, charity. And all this we can properly get to it by proper guidance from Shastras. Best way is Krishna conscious because, well, straight away we are establishing faith on the spiritual path because we believe in the Harinama. So we are straight away believing in the Lord, having faith on the Lord, and start off with chanting of Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. And that way we go straight away to the thing. And also food, as we said, trying to take the sattvic food and the speech. So we slowly will be able to cultivate all the austerities of speech, body, and mind. So best way is Krishna consciousness. And we can get free from material entanglement attachments. Perfect all active. See, here in this chapter, he touched upon on these 4 aspects, isn't it? The austerities, hand sacrifice. In the next chapter, there are so many factors which Krishna is going to explain based on the 3 modes of nature. Okay, we are going to see that. So, of course, only to remind you all, if you are, please enroll for level 2 so that you'll be in association. Vancha kalpatra abhyascha kripa sindhave evacha patitam nam pravane bro Vaishnavyo namo namaha. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. I hope you all are chanting at least 1 round and be happy. Okay? Like, is it okay to do japa with a japa mala when I'm... Yes, Mataji, there's no problem. For this Maha Mantra, there is no restrictions. Okay, Mataji, you can do that. No restrictions. Not for like other mantras. This mantra,